Larks got 3 days of some much-deserved rest, but they are back in action tonight as they will start their first 4-game series of the year against the Gameday Angels out of Parker, Colorado. As we welcome you into the pregame show here at Larks Park, I'm Hank Corsair, and the Larks are coming off another solid performance at home as they added another run rule victory to their home resume this season, scoring the first 4 runs of the game en route to a 11-0 win over the Denver Cougars. They only had 1 hit in the first inning, and throughout the game they just kind of took advantage of the mistakes that the Cougars made. But they scored 4 runs in the first inning and had 3 more in the third, thanks to Dylan LaRue walking and an RBI from C.J. Reed would bring him home, and then Tabor Stokes coming up after that would get 2 more home to give the Larks a 7-0 lead, and they would score their final 4 runs in the 4th inning, which included a 2-run home run from Dylan LaRue, as the Larks were also able to pitch a combined no-hitter in 7 innings because of the 11-0 run rule. Nick Gray got the start, throwing 3 innings, only giving up 1 walk, but had 7 strikeouts in the game. Jordan Stribling and Lane Sparks came in and pitched an inning each. Stribling finished with 1 strikeout, Sparks had 2, and Nahara faced the final 6 batters in the game, not allowing any hits and getting 2 strikeouts in his performance. And it was really just an incredible series for the Larks all around. With 2 run rules in 3 games against the Cougars, they outscored them 32-3, and the pitching didn't allow any earned runs the entire series, combined for 31 strikeouts in those 3 games. And of course, as we just noted, they had the no-hitter in Game 3, and they never trailed and the Larks also never trailed the entire series. And with that win in Game 3, they are now 25-3 against the Cougars since 2020. But now tonight, they've started a new series against another Colorado team from the RMBL, and that is the Gameday Angels out of Parker, Colorado, entering tonight 4-3 on the year and 3rd in RMBL play, or in the RMBL standings, excuse me. And this is their 2nd straight 4-game series. They just played down in Liberal, splitting, going 2-2 against the BJs. And this is their first game in 4 days, just like the Larks. So they last played against Liberal on June 15th. And with the winning record that they have, it's very impressive for them this early in the season, considering how young they are. They only returned 3 3+ year veterans and also 2 guys back for their 2nd year. But 19 of their 24 players are in their 1st year. So they'll be looking for a big win, trying to keep building on what they've had so far after a series against Colorado and then a series against Liberal. But for the Larks, this is going to tell us a lot about what the rest of the season is going to be like. As we noted, the 4-game series starts tonight against the Angels. Then they play a 3-game series at Liberal, which is always a real challenge for the Larks, considering that the BJs are usually near the top of the RMBL. And then the Larks will have 3 games at home, playing 2 games against the Colorado Rough Riders and 1 game against Dodge City, before playing 3 games in Colorado from a span of July 2nd to July 5th against the Rough Riders, and then a 2-game series against the Gameday Angels. So we're about 11 minutes from first pitch, and we will have it next when we come back. It was 4 days ago that both the Larks and the Angels played their last game, but they are ready to get back into action tonight as Dalton Campbell will take the mound for the Larks, making his third start of the season. A 2-0 record for him on the year. The junior left-handed pitcher out of Liberty Hill, Texas, will start off against the senior outfielder for the Angels, Grant Biggins. First pitch finds the zone, and the count starts off 0-1. First pitch for tonight's game comes at 7:02 p.m. on a very, very windy night here in Hays, Kansas. It's 91 degrees at first pitch, and the wind is coming from the south, which for here is out of about right center field. It's at 21 miles per hour, but there is 31 mile per hour gusts as well. Count is 1-2 for Dalton Campbell against Grant Biggins as he delivers the pitch, and it finds the zone, and there is the first strikeout of the night. 17 now on the season for Dalton Campbell as he continues to lead the Larks in that category. With one away, that'll bring up number 2, the shortstop for the Angels. That is Tyler Tiedemann. Redshirt freshman from Las Vegas, Nevada, making this his 20th at-bat of the season and the 8th game that he's played in. Count starts off 0-1. Here is the lineup for the Angels. On deck is Dylan Volz. In the hole is Tyler Genrich. Swing and a miss. Count now at 0-2. After that, they will go with the designated hitter David Brab, number 26 Cameron Kittredge, and the last 3 batters in the order are Cliff Goldie, William Harbison, and Kyle Hubert. And a swing and a miss. There is 3 strikes to put another batter away. Perfect start for Dalton Campbell with 2 strikeouts, and now that brings up Dylan Volz. We'll now take a look at the Larks' defensive alignment. In left field is Dylan LaRue. Center fielder tonight is Trent Baker, and in right field is Lane Sparks. Thomas Lissy is back at third base tonight. Next to him is Tabor Stokes, and playing second base is C.J. Reed, and Jackson Babcock is at first base, and the catcher tonight is Lorenzo Rios. Count will begin at 0-1 to Dylan Volz. Has 6 hits on the year. There's just the second ball of the game as the count is now 1-1. Dylan Volz, a sophomore from Chaparral, Colorado. Played this last season at South Florida State Community College and played and started in 55 of their 56 games. He is down now 1-2 to the Oklahoma City star, Dalton Campbell. The pitch on the way, swing and a miss, and it's 3 strikeouts to start the game for Dalton Campbell. He's got 19 on the year in the 3-up, 3-down inning. And we'll see Tabor Stokes, Trent Baker, and Lane Sparks lead things off for the Larks when we come back. Starting on the mound tonight for the Game Day Angels will be number 25, James Harbison, the sophomore from UC Colorado Springs, listed on the Angels roster as an outfielder, but tonight he is making his second start of the season. His only other one was one where he went 6 innings, got the win, and only allowed 3 hits and 2 runs, and recorded 4 strikeouts in that game. As he will face off first against Tabor Stokes, and the count will begin at 1-0. Pitch inside moves the count to 2-0. We'll take a look at the rest of the Larks order in just a second, as that one finds the zone low and inside for the first strike of the at-bat. After Tabor Stokes, it'll be Trent Baker, Lane Sparks, Jackson Babcock, Paul Smith, Thomas Lissy, Dylan LaRue, Lorenzo Rios, and C.J. Reed up to bat for the Larks. On the outside, it finds the zone. Count moves to 2-2. Stokes batting as the leadoff batter for the second game in a row. Was used near the middle of the Larks lineup prior to that. But had a strong performance in that final game of the series against the Denver Cougars, going 2 for 4 with 2 singles as well as 3 RBIs. We'll see if he can get on tonight first as the leadoff batter, as the count is now full. Harbison will deliver the pitch. This one a fly ball into right field. Goldie will have to run after it, and this one's going to drop into fair territory as Stokes will round first base. He is going to head to second and get there in plenty of time. A leadoff double for the Hayes Larks as that brings up Trent Baker. It was good positioning there as well by Tabor Stokes. He put it close to the line, and it was a long run for the right fielder, Cliff Goldie. And the Larks already got a runner in scoring position as Trent Baker comes up to bat. We'll also take a look at the Game Day Angels defensive alignment. In left field is number 13, Grant Biggins. The center fielder is number 30, Kyle Hubert. The right fielder we just saw throw it in was number 17, Cliff Goldie. We'll get the infield in just a second. Baker shows bunt. Takes a high bounce, but will roll foul, and the count starts off 0-1. The third baseman tonight for the Game Day Angels is number 26, Cameron Kittredge. The shortstop is number 2, Tyler Tiedemann. And on the right side of the infield, the second baseman is number 5, Dylan Volz, and the first baseman is number 15, Tyler Genrich. 0-1 on the way to Baker. Left inside moves the count to 1-1. The catcher tonight for the Angels is number 20, William Harbison. He wants this one low and inside, and this one will be a line drive that will go foul. And the count now sets at 1-2 for the center fielder out of Lamar, Trent Baker. Let's see what Baker does tonight. After that last game, he was able to put the ball in play 5 times. This one will take a bounce on the plate, and it'll be called foul. Harbison continuing to watch Tabor Stokes at second base. He had a stolen base in the last game against Denver, and he takes a big lead as this one's thrown back to second base, and they catch Tabor Stokes. He took a big lead and got caught stealing, and there's one away. So we'll see how Baker approaches this one now after that first out. Left inside moves the count to 2-2. Trent Baker has a .270 average for the Larks this season. This is his 10th game that he's appeared in this season. Trying to fight back as the pitch is on the way. Hit high in the air. This one's going to land in foul territory, out of play. It will stay in the ballpark, but it lands near the fenced area on the right side of us, near the bullpen. So this one will be the 6th pitch of the at-bat to Trent Baker. This one curving into the zone. Baker makes contact with it. It's fielded by Tiedemann at the shortstop position. He'll throw it down to Jenrich, and there is 2 away. So with 2 outs, that now takes us to the right fielder for the Larks. Back into the order tonight, it's Lane Sparks. He was used as a courtesy runner a couple times in that game against the Cougars, and he also pitched in the 5th inning. But he is back in the order tonight. First pitch on the way is left up high, starting the count at 1-0. Sparks thought about swinging. Instead, he'll hold back, and it pays off as the count now goes to 2-0. Sparks from Brenham, Texas, played this last season at Wharton State Community College as a future Lamar Cardinal. This one fouled back. Camera shakes a little bit, and it's going to stay in place. That foul ball tied the count up at 2-1. Sparks had to duck out of the way a little bit. Count is now at 3-1. As he looks to get on base and set up an opportunity here for the Larks' top batter, who's next up, and that is number 5, Jackson Babcock. Harbison delivers. They'll say it was a little bit up high, and there is a walk for Lane Sparks. His 13th walk of the season, which now ties him as the leader in that category for the Larks. That'll now take us to the first baseman, Jackson Babcock. We'll see if he can open things up a little more tonight. When he faced off against the Cougars pitchers, they were trying to position the ball in spots where it was a little bit more difficult to hit. And this one, a stolen base here for Lane Sparks. It was very close. James Harbison, the pitcher for the Angels, had to duck out of the way. But either way, Lane Sparks is able to steal second base. Pitch on the way. Ground ball over to Volst. He will field this one cleanly, throw it over to first base, and there is out number 3. The Larks were able to get 2 guys on base, but they will leave 1 guy stranded as we go to the top of the 2nd inning. After a solid first inning, Dalton Campbell will make his way back to the mound. Struck out the side in the first inning against the Angels, which is a good sign if you're a Larks fan. I have it in my notes right here that whenever a Larks pitcher gets at least three strikeouts in their time pitching, the starter that is, the Larks are 7-0-1 when that happens, and the only time it didn't was the loss down in Dodge City where the starter only had two. So we'll see if the Larks pull through and win tonight. Count is now at 0-2 as Campbell faces off against the first baseman Tyler Genrich, the infielder from Colorado Springs, Colorado. Leaves that one outside, moves the count to 1-2. On deck for the Angels is the designated hitter, number 7, David Brab. In the hole is the third baseman, Cameron Kittredge. Swing and a miss, make that 4 strikeouts now in a row for Dalton Campbell, as that brings up the designated hitter in the order for the Gameday Angels. Designated hitter tonight for the Angels is number 7, David Brab. Another player for the Angels from UC Colorado Springs. This one a line drive into center field. It'll be Lane Sparks who will have to, or this one will go over his head, and now heading to second is Brab. And he will slide in safely for the double. Sparks came up just a little bit to try and make the catch, but then realized he had to back up a little bit. And as he made the jump, the ball went over his head. And the Angels have a runner on, as that'll take us to Cameron Kittredge. And there was a little confusion there. David Brab will stay at second base for the Angels. The guy that came in was number 12, Issei Santaella. But it will be Brab running the base path as Campbell faces off against Kittredge. Count starts off 1-0 to the third baseman. This is where you got to be careful for the Larks. Kittredge leads the Angels in slugging percentage. This one goes foul, moving the count to 1-1. Just played this last season at the NAIA level with Dakota State. Had 13 at-bats this season, which included 2 runs, 3 hits, and 2 RBIs. Campbell takes a look back at second base. And the pitch on the way will go wide, but it's going to move the count to 2-1. It's the 7th game for Cameron Kittredge this season. He has a .294 average on the year. Left inside, that'll move the count to 3-1. This one will go foul near the camera. It is going to stay in place, and now the count is full to Cameron Kittredge. Campbell looking to win the battle. This one will go wide, and there is ball 4. Two runners on for the Gameday Angels after a strikeout to start the inning, and that takes us to Cliff Goldie, the right fielder. Sophomore from Aurora, Colorado. This is his 2nd season with the Gameday Angels. Campbell takes multiple looks back at second, and this one will hit the arm of Goldie, and he will make his way down to first base. So the Angels will work with the bases loaded. There will be a short meeting here between Dalton Campbell and the catcher for the Larks, Lorenzo Rios. That batter coming up to the plate for the Angels is number 20, William Harbison. Freshman from Western Nebraska Community College. Resides from the home of the Gameday Angels in Parker, Colorado. Campbell looks back at second, delivers the first pitch of the at-bat. It goes wide. It's ball one. Harbison has 3 hits on the year. All those have been singles, and he also has 3 RBIs. They say he won't go around. The count now stands at 2-0. High and outside, and now Harbison ahead in the count at 3-0. As the Angels look for the to be the first team to lead this game. Campbell delivers the pitch. That one will find the zone on the inside, and the count is now at 3-1. Harbison takes a swing at this one. He'll take a bounce on the plate, and that will be a called foul. Campbell has been able to fight back, and the count is now at full once again. The second time Dalton Campbell's been faced with a full count in tonight's game. The other one was in this inning. Cameron Kittredge walked, and he's currently at second base. The pitch is on the way. Finds the zone on the outside. That's 5 strikeouts on the day for Dalton Campbell, and 2 away here in the top of the second inning. Harbison thought that he was going to walk. It was outside, but it was just able to find the zone, and that takes us to the final batter in the order for the Angels, Kyle Hubert. There is strike one to Kyle Hubert, the center fielder from Woodlands, Texas. Played this last season at Salt Lake Community College, where he redshirted. And that team actually went on to win the 2025 NJCAA Division I National Championship. So he'll look for a strong season this year with the Angels before stepping into a big role with a program like Salt Lake. A high bouncer, Jackson Babcock will field it, and he touches first base. Even though the Larks had the bases loaded, they are able to get out number 3 and keep the game at 0-0. Paul Smith will lead off the second inning for the Larks when we come back. Number 25, Paul Smith, will lead off the bottom of the second inning for the Larks. Left high and outside. The count will start off 1-0. Smith, the most recent addition to the Hayes Larks out of Rice, resides from Flower Mound, Texas, and he is now up in the count at 2-0. In that last game against the Cougars, he was walked once, and he also scored 2 runs after reaching on a fielder's choice, and he also had a stolen base in there as well. He's ahead in the count at 3-0. Thomas Lissy is on deck for the Larks, and Dylan LaRue is in the hole. It is a 4-pitch walk for the designated hitter, Paul Smith, as Thomas Lissy will come up to the plate next. Thomas Lissy is the 8th Street Liquor Beverage batter in tonight's game, playing third base back into the order after he dealt with a knee injury in the prior series against the Cougars. He was expected to return tonight, and he is back tonight. We'll see what he does as James Harbison delivers the first pitch of the at-bat. It finds the zone, and the count starts off 0-1. The 6th game for Thomas Lissy that he's played in this season, a throw down to first base, but Paul Smith is back in time. This one will be left outside, moving the count to 1-1. Lissy enters tonight's game with a .353 average on the season, also an .875 OPS. This one hit high in the air, will go foul, and will land into the parking lot of doom. There was a lot of power on that hit by Thomas Lissy, but also a lot of height as well, as the count is now standing at 1-2. Smith will take a lead off first base. The pitch on the way will be a line drive. Making the jump for it was Tiedemann, and he can't get it. It will advance both runners, and there is a single for Paul Smith. Or correction, for Thomas Lissy. Paul Smith will advance to second base. That'll bring up the left fielder, Dylan LaRue, coming off of a very solid performance in that final game against the Denver Cougars. Reached base 3 times and had 3 runs, which included a 2-run home run that he hit in the 4th inning of that game. Harbison will look back at the runner in scoring position, Paul Smith. And once again, the count will start off 1-0. Dylan LaRue enters this game on a 4-game hitting streak, looking to continue it tonight. The 1-0 on the way from Harbison. This one will go back behind us, and the count now moves to 1-1. Curving back into the zone. This one will be made. Hit by Dylan LaRue. It'll land in fair territory. This one's going to bring some runs home. Paul Smith will score. Lissy will get the windmill. He's rounding third. He will head home. A 2-run RBI double for Dylan LaRue.
It's a 2 RBI double for Dylan LaRue.
9 RBIs for the junior out of Cumberland on the year. And that takes us to Lorenzo Rios next up in the order. Harbison will deliver the first pitch to Rios. He'll show bunt. This one bouncing will stay fair and then roll foul. As Harbison was there, he just let it go. The count is 0-1 to Lorenzo Rios. Rios had an RBI and two runs in the last game against the Cougars. But in his 4 plate appearances, he was able to reach base 3 times, which were all for him getting hit by a pitch, which has happened to him now 8 times on the year. Half-hearted swing. That one will go around. The count is now 0-2. Harbison taking his time for the Angels. This is his second start of the season. Left outside. This one will roll away from the catcher, and LaRue's going to get to third base in plenty of time. Just 90 feet away from being the third run to score for the Larks this inning. No outs here in the bottom of the second inning, but the count is 1-2. Pitch on the way to Rios. It's left outside. There's ball 2. Rios will foul this one back, staying alive at the count with the count at 2-2. Rios playing close to the plate. Left up high. They're going to say that Rios actually went around, and there is out number 1. So just one away. That'll take us to the final batter in the order for the Larks. That is the second baseman, C.J. Reed. Reed had an RBI in that last game against the Cougars. We'll see if he can bring Dylan LaRue home as the count is now at 0-1. This one takes a bounce in the other batter's box. The count now stands at 1-1 to C.J. Reed. He's recorded a hit in 7 of the 9 games that he's played in this season. This one in play, but will go foul behind the first base bag. Reed will have to fight back as the count is now at 1-2. Ground ball will be fielded by Jenrich at first base. He will tag first, but scoring from third is Dylan LaRue as the Larks take a 3-0 lead.
C.J. Reed drives in a run, bringing to the plate. Top of the order, number 6, Tabor Stokes.
So that'll return us to the top of the order, and that will bring up Tabor Stokes. In his previous at-bat, he got a double on a full count. We'll see what he does this time around. Pitch on the way. This one a line drive. It's going to land in front of Biggins, and another hit for Tabor Stokes as he gets the single with 2 away.
Now batting number 2, Trent Baker.
That takes us now to Trent Baker. Had a ground ball to the shortstop in his previous at-bat. Big lead taken by Tabor Stokes over at first base, and they will throw down. He is back in time. The count is not as we're about to start the at-bat for Trent Baker. The count will begin at 1-0. Tabor Stokes taking a big lead over at first. Only 6 stolen bases for him this season. Baker held back a little bit. That one was inside. The count is now at 2-0. Harbison kept taking multiple looks back at first base, and that was a diving catch made by the shortstop Tyler Tiedemann, and that is out number 3. But the Larks do score 3 runs in the bottom of the second. Paul Smith, Thomas Lissy, and Dylan LaRue all across the plate. And the Game Day Angels will be back to the top of their order when we come back. Three runs on 3 hits give the Larks the lead as we go to the top of the 3rd inning. Back to the top of the order for the Game Day Angels with Grant Biggins and Dalton Campbell still on the mound. Campbell will deliver the first pitch of the inning, and that's left inside for ball 1. Campbell struck out the first 4 batters that he faced in tonight's game, Grant Biggins being one of them. The count is 1-1. He was actually able to get Biggins on a 1-2 count looking, and then followed it with 2 more strikeouts after that. Biggins goes around there. The count now at 1-2. A senior from Augustana College. We'll leave that one outside. The count now stands at 2-2. Grant Biggins, he actually started his college baseball career 2 hours west of Hayes at Colby Community College, and he struck out for the 2nd time in tonight's game. Caught looking once again, and there is 1 away to start the top of the 3rd inning. That'll bring up the shortstop, number 2, Tyler Tiedemann. Redshirt freshman from Las Vegas, Nevada. Left inside, the count will start off 1-0. Rios wanted it on the outside, and it's able to find the zone. 1-1 count to the infielder from Regis. Count is now tied up for Tiedemann at 2-1. Redshirted at Regis in 2024. But played in 3 games this season as a redshirt freshman with only 3 at-bats. And he's ahead in the count now at 3-1. Left high and outside, there is a walk, and the Angels have their first runner on in this inning. That'll bring up the second baseman for the Angels, Dylan Volts. Team leader in hits with 6. Played at South Florida State this last season. And will look for a better appearance this time around after striking out, swinging on a 1-2 count to end the first inning in his previous appearance. On the way from Campbell. And that is now ball 2 to Dylan Volts. Campbell watching first base, swing and a miss, and there's the first strike to the second baseman. Tiedemann has 4 stolen bases this season, taking a large lead over at first. And there is ball 3 to Volz. A little too high, and there is ball 4 to Volz, and the Angels have runners at first and second base, as that takes us to Tyler Genrich.
Now batting number 15, Tyler Genrich.
The 4th batter in the order, wearing number 15, played at UC Colorado Springs. Swing and a miss, starting the count at 0-1. Rios wants the pitch low and inside. Pitch on the way. Stealing for third is Tyler Tiedemann, and this one will get away from Thomas Lissy. And there's going to be the first run of the game for the Game Day Angels. The runner at second base is Dylan Volz. But Tyler Genrich now faced with 2 strikes in the count. Hit high in the air into center field. Trent Baker will move over a little bit to retrieve it. And he makes the catch for out number 2, and he'll throw in right away. And that was a very close play. C.J. Reed was covering second base. Volz had a pretty big lead, but was able to slide back safely. But either way, that's 2 away, as that brings up the designated hitter, David Brab.
Now batting number 7, David Brab.
Brab was the first Game Day Angel to get a hit in tonight's game. He had a double after Tyler Genrich had a strikeout swing to start the second inning. Campbell will deliver the first pitch of the at-bat, swing and a miss, starting it off 0-1. Campbell's gotten at least 2 strikeouts in every inning so far. And now a line drive will ran right in front of Dylan LaRue. He will throw it in. That will keep Dylan Volz at third base, but it's a single for David Brab, as that'll now bring up Cameron Kittredge.
Now batting number 26, Cameron Kittredge.
So the Larks are once again faced with another situation where they got runners in scoring position, just needing one out. The count will start off 1-0 for Campbell against Kittredge. Campbell was watching first base as he began his windup. We've already seen 1 stolen base from the Angels this inning, a team that is now 28 for 32 on stolen bases this season. The count now 1-1 to Kittredge. This one will go foul into the parking lot of doom. And Campbell just needs 1 more strike to finish off the inning. Up high, that'll be called ball 2. Campbell delivers, swing and a miss, and there is another strikeout for Dalton Campbell. 7 on the day, and he's gotten 2 in each inning so far. The Larks will bring up Lane Sparks, Jackson Babcock, and Paul Smith up next as we go to the bottom of the 3rd inning. With one hit, the Gameday Angels are able to score 1 run in the top of the 3rd inning. But the Larks will bring up their 3, 4, 5 batters up next as they face off against James Harbison still on the mound. It will be Lane Sparks starting off the inning as the pitch is on the way. Breaks into the zone, starts to count at 0-1. Sparks back into the lineup tonight for the Larks, was a pitcher in the 5th inning in Game 3 against the Denver Cougars. His first appearance tonight, he was walked on a 3-1 count. Also had a stolen base. This one a hard hit ball into left field. Biggins will run after it. He is at the wall, backing up, and this one's going to bounce off the wall. Sparks will stay put at second base, and he's got a double. Second time tonight that the Larks have a leadoff double for an inning, as that takes us to Jackson Babcock. Jackson Babcock, the Larks' leader in batting average and on-base percentage, entering tonight's game with 448 average and a 630 on-base percentage. If he can get a good hit right here, he can enter double digits in the RBI category. He's got 9 so far on the year. Harbison delivers. That one takes a bounce outside and starts the count at 1-0. Looks like the Angels are going to keep Harbison in for another inning. They currently have nobody warming up in their bullpen. Line drive into right field. This one will land in the Angels bullpen. And the count now 1-1 to Jackson Babcock. Lane Sparks will take a short lead over at second base as the pitch is on the way. Left inside, and it ties the count up at 2-1. Harbison will take a second look back. This one, a high fly ball into right field. Goldie will run up on it. And he almost went into the infield, but there is now one away in the bottom of the 3rd. That'll now bring up the designated hitter, Paul Smith. We'll see what he does working with a runner at second base. In his first appearance, he was the leadoff batter for the 2nd inning. And he was walked on 4 straight balls. It's the first time this season Paul Smith is in the designated hitter position. Fouling that one off, he begins at 0-1. Sparks continuing to take a big lead. This one, a line drive, will go foul. And Smith will now have to fight back as it now sits at 0-2 with 1 out. Pitch on the way. And the catcher will have to move out of his position to avoid a pass ball. The count is now 1-2 to Paul Smith. Up high, moves the count to 2-2. After starting the count at 0-2, Smith is starting to fight back. Popped up high into the air. This one will go over the press box. And the count will stay put at 2-2. Smith doing a good job fighting back in the count. Harbison looks back at second again. And he'll deliver the pitch. Fouled back. That's now 6 pitches in the at-bat. The 7th one is coming up next. There's going to be a short meeting here between the catcher for the A's, or excuse me, for the catcher for the Angels and their pitcher. Unless I'm wrong, the pitcher-catcher duo tonight for the Angels, I believe, are brothers. William Harbison is the catcher. The pitcher is James Harbison. On their roster, it says that they're both from Parker, Colorado. Harbison is a sophomore, or James Harbison is a sophomore. William Harbison is a freshman. And this one, Paul Smith will slide into first base, but they will get him. There is 2 away here in the bottom of the 3rd inning, but Lane Sparks will head down to third base as Thomas Lissy will come up to the plate next. Thomas Lissy up to bat at a single in his previous appearance on a 1-2 count. He is tonight's 8th Street Liquor beverage batter, and he will begin with the count at 1-0. That one takes a bounce next to the plate. Lissy ahead at 2-0. Left inside, now Lissy just one ball from getting on base. Sitting comfortable at 3-0. With 2 aways, he tries to bring home one more run here in the 3rd. That one finds the zone on the outside. Sparks will slide back to third base. He is there in time, but the count is now 3-1 to Thomas Lissy. Ground ball will go foul. And now the count is full to the third baseman. Thomas Lissy will be the 2nd Larks batter to battle with a full count in tonight's game. The other one was Tabor Stokes as the leadoff batter. He got a double. We'll see what Lissy can do. Hard ground ball. Harbison will track it down. And the first baseman will get out of his way. He will tag first, and that's out number 3. Lane Sparks started the inning off with a double, but 3 outs follow after that. And we will go now to the top of the 4th inning. Dalton Campbell will make his way back to the mound as we start the top of the fourth inning, as the Angels will be led off by number 17, Cliff Goldie. And he will face off with an 0-1 count to start the inning. That one outside moves the count to 1-1. Campbell has 7 strikeouts so far in tonight's game. He's only allowed 2 hits and 1 run. That run actually was not earned because of an error that occurred at third that brought Tyler Tiedemann home. The count now at 2-1. The Larks do have somebody warming up in the bullpen right now. We'll let you know who that is in just a second. But Cliff Goldie now ahead at 3-1. He was hit by a pitch in the second inning, and he will walk to start the fourth inning. That now brings up the catcher, William Harbison. He was the 5th batter in tonight's game to strike out against Dalton Campbell. That was on a full count. We'll see what he does this time around. And when he came up to the plate in his previous appearance, that was when the Angels had the bases loaded with just 1 out. He would strike out looking, and then the guy on deck, Kyle Hubert, would ground out to Jackson Babcock over at first. One 0 on the way from Campbell. Swing and a miss moves the count to 1-1. Rios wants it low. This one goes outside, tying the count up at 2-1. That one moves the count to 3-1. Again, Lorenzo Rios looking down over at first base as Cliff Goldie continuing to take big leads. He just had to stay put at first base in the second inning as he dealt with the bases loaded. Now he's continuing to take a big lead. This one hit high into the air, will go into foul territory. And once again, William Harbison will be faced with a full count. Campbell delivers. And this one will go foul into the parking lot of doom. The 7th pitch of the at-bat is coming up next to William Harbison. Campbell delivers the pitch, and that one gets in the zone. Another strikeout on the night for Dalton Campbell. He's got 8 in tonight's game, and there is 1 away here in the top of the 4th inning. That's now 2 times tonight Dalton Campbell has caught William Harbison looking on the 3rd strike. And that takes us to the final guy in the order for the Angels, Kyle Hubert. They'll show bunt, pull it back, and that will be called ball one. As Hubert was able to leave that one on the outside. Hubert is a freshman from Woodlands, Texas that played this last season at Salt Lake Community College. Count will now move to 1-1 with one out. Campbell watching first base as he starts his windup. This one a line drive will stay in fair territory going down the left field line. Cliff Goldie will head for third base, get the windmill as he's going home. Tabor Stokes lost the ball as he was trying to be the cutoff man to get it home. But we now have a one-run game off an RBI double from Kyle Hubert. We now go back to the top of the order for the Angels, and that'll be Grant Biggins. The left fielder has struck out twice in tonight's game. He's been one of the top hitters for the Angels so far this season. 6 hits coming into tonight's game, leading the category. High and inside, and the count will start off 1-0. Grant Biggins played this last season at Augustana College. And he's from Parker, Colorado, but he started his college career 2 hours west of Hayes at Colby Community College. Count now moves to 1-1 for the left fielder. Campbell looks back at second base, swing and a miss, and now the count sets at 1-2. Campbell will look for another strikeout. That one down low moves the count to 2-2. He already has eight in tonight's game. And he can continue the trend where he's gotten 2 strikeouts in every inning if he can get one right here. 2-2 on the way. Will be fouled, and Biggins keeping his at-bat alive. Biggins needs to be careful here with the count at 2-2. A good hit can bring Kyle Hubert home from second base. But he's got to be careful on what he selects. Is this one a ground ball being fielded by C.J. Reed? Tosses it over to Jackson Babcock, and there's 2 away here in the 4th inning. That'll bring up the shortstop for the Angels, Tyler Tiedemann. 0 for 1 in tonight's game. He struck out in his first appearance and walked on a 3-1 count in the 3rd inning. And he was the first run to score tonight for the Angels. Outside, the count begins at 1-0. That one finds the zone on the outside. The count now sits at 1-1. Fouled back. Our camera will stay in place. And Dalton Campbell now has an opportunity to get another strikeout. The count is 1-2. Campbell delivers. Rios tried to frame that one on the outside, but that is ball number 2. And the Angels will once again be faced with another full count in this inning. William Harbison was faced with a full count with no outs. He struck out looking. The pitch on the way will be fouled off. And the 7th pitch of the at-bat is coming up next. That one inside, it finds the zone. Another strikeout for Dalton Campbell. Leaves just one runner stranded at third. But we'll see if the Larks can continue to build on their lead when we come back as we go to the bottom of the 4th inning. Before we begin the bottom of the 4th inning, we want to give a shout out to today's game sponsors: Cedar Lodge Dental Group, Commerce Bank, Horizon Appliance and Mattress, and Cold Stone Creamery. Thank you for your support of the Hayes Larks and tonight's game. As James Harbison will be back on the mound for the bottom of the 4th inning, and he will face off against Dylan LaRue. LaRue hits this one, it goes foul. The count is now at 1-1. The Larks holding on to a 3-2 lead. All those runs were scored in the 2nd inning, where they were able to bring Paul Smith, Thomas Lissy, and Dylan LaRue home. The count is now tied up at 2-1. Harbison will deliver the pitch, and that one will hit LaRue on the knee. He will make his way down to first base. That now brings up the catcher, Lorenzo Rios. We'll see how much longer James Harbison will go on the mound. The Angels did send somebody over to the bullpen, I believe. That was number 21, Connor Brennan from Aurora, Colorado. And this one will get away from the catcher, and it gives an easy opportunity for Dylan LaRue to take second base. So it's a 1-0 count for Lorenzo Rios. As he looks to get on base tonight, he's scored 8 runs in the last 4 games. And the count now at 1-1. On deck for the Larks is C.J. Reed. Tabor Stokes, the leadoff batter, is in the hole. Line drive into left field. Biggins will run back to the wall after this. He stops and will make the jump for it, but it is going to go over the wall, and it is a 2-run home run for Lorenzo Rios. The first home run of the season for Lorenzo Rios, And the Larks extend their lead to 5-2 as C.J. Reed comes up to the plate.
Now batting number 1, C.J. Reed.
And that was great contact made by Rios as well. That one actually had more distance than originally thought because the left fielder, Grant Biggins, he tried to make a jump for it, but there was no play to be made. And the count now 1-0 to C.J. Reed. And we're going to get time as the Angels coach will make his way to the mound. We'll see if they keep Harbison in the game or if they will make the call to the bullpen. This was Harbison's second start of the season. His other one, in his first and only other start, he pitched 6 innings. Possibly trying to complete 4 before they make the change, or if they want to make the change now and try to get this game under control as the Larks hold the 3-run lead. Maybe we'll keep James Harbison in the game as Reed is ahead in the count at 2-0 with no outs. The pitch on the way. A line drive will go foul, and the count is now tied at 2-1. That one looked like it was going to go high, but it breaks into the zone. As Harbison delivers strike 2 to C.J. Reed. Reed will line this one foul as it lands in the street to the left of us. This one a ground ball fielded by Harbison, and he will throw it over to Jenrich, and there is out number 1. That'll now bring the Larks back to the top of their order with Tabor Stokes. He's got 2 hits so far in tonight's game, a double and a single. He'll leave that one inside and start the count off at 1-0. This one will go foul, as that's the first strike of the at-bat to Tabor Stokes. Count is once again tied to the Larks. That's 2-1. Since Stokes has 2 hits in tonight's game, he's now hit in 9 of the 10 games that he's played in this season, and that gives him 6 multi-hit games on the year. This one a line drive, running after is the shortstop Tiedemann. This one will roll away from him, and Tabor Stokes has another single.
Now batting number 2, Trent Baker.
With 1 out, that'll bring up the Lamar Cardinal from Spring, Texas, Trent Baker. Had a good hit ball in his previous appearance in the 2nd inning. It was a good play made by the shortstop Tyler Tiedemann. We'll see if Trent Baker can find the gap and advance the runners. This one will go foul, starting the count at 0-1. We're going to get time called by the home umpire. The 0-1 on the way from Harbison is high and outside. It is a 1-1 count to Trent Baker. We're continuing to see Tabor Stokes take some big leads over at first base. Line drive into left center field. This one's going to drop, and this one might bring some runs home as Trent Baker will round first base. Hubert will pick it up and throw it in. Stokes headed home, and it's an RBI double for Trent Baker. The Larks take a 6-2 lead. Baker made some great contact, able to drop it between Biggins and Hubert, and the Larks able to extend their lead. And now we're going to get another meeting for the Gameday Angels, and the signal will be called over to the bullpen. I believe this will be the end of the day for James Harbison. We'll see who that new pitcher coming in for the Angels is when we come back. After 4 1/3 innings of work, James Harbison's night will come to an end for the Gameday Angels, and they will make a call to the bullpen as they will bring in a high school senior from Aurora, Colorado at Eagle Crest High School. And if you follow along with Fort Hays State baseball, this is a name that you're going to want to get used to. Connor Brennan is committed to play baseball next season at Fort Hays State and is a very solid player from Colorado, a second-team All-League selection at Eagle Crest High School, and also an academic All-State selection, making his 4th appearance for the Angels this season. As he will start off first against number 8, Lane Sparks. Baker will head for third base as this one will get away from the catcher. And it's a 1-0 count to Sparks, and Baker is sitting at third base. So William Harbison will have a short meeting with Brennan as after that first pitch, as they try to get on the same page and try to put an end to this 4th inning where the Larks have scored 3 runs so far, including Lorenzo Rios hitting a 2-run home run and Tabor Stokes being brought home from an RBI double by Trent Baker. We're going to get time called by the home plate umpire. Not sure what it's for, but Baker was a little bit confused as he was leading off third base. But we go back to the action, 1-0 count to Sparks. And that will be ball 2 as that one's high and outside. Sparks has reached base twice in tonight's game. That one will find the zone. The count now tied up at 2-1. This one will go over the press box into foul territory, and now Sparks will have to battle back with a 2-2 count. The catcher wants it low and outside, and that is where they put it, but it'll be ball 3. We'll see if Lane Sparks can win the battle with 1 out. The pitch is on the way. And there is ball 4. The second time tonight Lane Sparks has been walked, and the third time tonight that he has reached first base. That'll bring up number 5, Jackson Babcock.
Now batting number 5, Jackson Babcock.
The freshman first baseman from Colorado School of Mines. He has 9 RBIs on the season and working with a runner at third. That's Trent Baker. The count will start off 1-0 to Jackson Babcock. With Trent Baker reaching third base, he's now double digits for stolen bases on the year with 10. If Jackson Babcock can bring him home, he will reach double digits for RBIs as he currently has 9. Count is 2-0 with 1 away, and we have another meeting here for the Angels. Trying to put an end to the inning and also try to add another win to the season. This is a very young team for the Angels as we get a stolen base here for Lane Sparks. Baker is back in time, and now it's 2 runners in scoring position for Babcock to work with. But we've noted this is a Gameday Angels team with 24 guys on their roster, and 17 of those players are first-year players. Curves into the outside corner of the zone, moves the count to 2-2. Connor Brennan will deliver the pitch. This one's hit high into the air, and this one will land in foul territory. That's now 5 pitches in the at-bat for Jackson Babcock. Catcher wants it low and outside, and it's a swing and a miss for Babcock as there's now 2 away here in the bottom of the 4th inning. That'll bring up the designated hitter, number 25, Paul Smith. He has 1 run in tonight's game and is working with 2 runners in scoring position with Trent Baker at third and Lane Sparks at second. The pitch on the way. Up high, that'll be called ball 1. Smith left that one on the outside, but it finds the zone. The count is now 1-1. Brennan delivers the pitch. Smith takes a swing at that one. It's now sitting at 1-2. This one, a fly ball, will go over the head of Tiedemann, and that will bring 1 run home. Sparks will head home as well. A 2 RBI single for Paul Smith extends the Larks' lead to 8-2.
2 RBIs from Paul Smith. That'll bring to the plate tonight's 8th Street beverage batter, number 15.
That'll now bring up the third baseman Thomas Lissy after the Larks take an 8-2 lead. The Larks have scored 5 runs in this 4th inning alone. As Thomas Lissy will come up to the plate. He was the 2nd run to score in tonight's game, and he will start off against an 0-1 count. This is Thomas Lissy's 6th game of the season. He's back in the order tonight after dealing with a dealing with a knee injury. And now the count is 0-2. Lissy talking with the umpire. I think he might be trying to argue that there was a balk that occurred because of the weird motion there from Connor Brennan. Left outside, the count at 1-2. Paul Smith will steal second base, and he slides in plenty of time. The 2nd stolen base on the year for Paul Smith after the first ball of the at-bat for Thomas Lissy. Left up high, the count now sits at 2-2. Brennan kicks and deals, and a swing and a miss there for Thomas Lissy, and there is out number 3. The Larks, however, are able to score 5 runs in that 4th inning, including a 2-run home run from Lorenzo Rios, an RBI double from Trent Baker, and a 2 RBI single from Paul Smith to give the Larks the 6-run lead. We go now to the top of the 5th inning with the 3-4-5 batters up next for the Gameday Angels when we come back. Dalton Campbell is back on the mound as we start the top of the 5th inning with Dylan Volz coming up to the plate for the Gameday Angels. Campbell, another strong performance so far in tonight's game. 9 strikeouts and only 2 runs scored by the Angels, as well as only 3 hits. Count is 1-0 to the second baseman, Dylan Volz. Low and inside. That one will make the count 2-0. For Dalton Campbell, he now has 25 strikeouts on the year. As Vols will be faced with a 3-0 count. At the rate Campbell's going, he's likely going to enter the top 10 of the Larks' all-time strikeout leaders at the end of the season. Right now, the way it looks right now, and in the 10th place spot is Matt Sherwood. He had 73 strikeouts in 1992. At the rate Dalton Campbell is going, he's likely going to enter that leaderboard at the end of the season. But he's now got to work with a runner on first base here in the 5th inning, as that brings up Tyler Genrich, the first baseman. This one fouled back. And the count now 0-1. The camera's still doing all right. We've had quite a few foul balls near it, but it's staying put in place. That'll be ball 1 to Tyler Genrich. He is 0 for 2 in tonight's game. Struck out in the 2nd inning and had a fly out to Trent Baker in center field in the 3rd inning. This one hit really high up into the air. Running after it will be C.J. Reed. And also coming in from right field is Lane Sparks. But that will be a foul ball as Reed couldn't quite get under it. But either way, it landed in foul territory, and the count is now at 1-2. We give a lot of credit there to C.J. Reed. He had to run all the way from second base to track it down. And it hung up in the air for a very long time, and it was just one of those tough fly balls to try and track down. But either way, Dalton Campbell just needs one more strike to finish off another batter. That one will be called ball 2. This one will go inside, and Genrich will now be faced with a full count. Campbell delivers the pitch. This one hit high into the air. No Larks will run after this. It's going to land in foul territory. And the count staying put at full. That one will go outside, and that's going to be ball 4 to Tyler Genrich. He was able to fight back, as that's now back-to-back walks for the Angels. And that brings up the designated hitter, David Brab. We're going to get a quick meeting here between Dalton Campbell and Keith Harper. We will step away for a moment as the two talk things over. So the Larks will make a call to the bullpen, and we will let you know who that is when we come back. After 4 innings, Dalton Campbell will make his way to the dugout after another solid performance, only giving up 3 hits and 2 runs and recording 9 strikeouts in tonight's game as the Larks make a call to the bullpen for number 29, Jordan Stribling, the left-handed freshman from Oklahoma and Dallas, Texas. The first batter he will face will be number 7, David Brab, the designated hitter. And Stribling will work with runners at second and first. At second is Dylan Volz, and at first is Tyler Gendrich. That one will be left outside, and the count will start off 1-0 to David Brab. He's gotten 2 hits for the Angels so far in tonight's game. A double in the second inning and a single in the third inning. Swing and a miss, and there is the first strike of the game for Jordan Stribling. This is his 5th appearance on the season. Been a solid player for the Larks in his first year, .250 opponent batting average. A swing and a miss moves the count to 1-2. And Stribling has also held his opponents to 2 hits or less in every appearance that he's made so far this season. We'll see if he can do that again tonight. That one will be left outside the zone. David Brab now sets with a 2-2 count. There are no outs here in the top of the 5th inning as the Angels try to bring some runs home. They've left 6 guys stranded through the first 4 innings of tonight's game. The count will stay at 2-2 after the foul ball. Stribling taking his time, delivers the pitch. And that one will be a wild pitch that gets away from Lorenzo Rios. And both runners will advance on the base path. That will be a full count for David Brab. Trying to remain perfect in tonight's game. 2 for 2 so far. Stribling delivers the pitch. A ground ball, and this one will get past Tabor Stokes. And that will be 1 run scored for the Angels as Dylan Volz will cross the plate, and that advances Tyler Gendrich to third. That now brings up the third baseman, Cameron Kittredge. In tonight's game, he has walked and has also struck out. The pitch on the way from Stribling will find the zone on the outside. It's an 0-1 count to start. Stribling looks back at first base, delivers, and that goes outside for ball 1. Count now tied up at 2-1 to Cameron Kittredge, the third baseman for the Angels. Now Keith Harper will head out to the pitcher's mound, and he will have another meeting. We'll be back in just a sec after this meeting between Keith Harper and Jordan Stribling. So after the meeting, Jordan Stribling will face a 2-1 count against Cameron Kittredge. As the Larks look to get out number 1 here in the top of the 5th inning. This one a ground ball fielded by Thomas Lissy. He will throw it over to second for Reed. That's 1. Over to first for Babcock, and they will call him safe. That will score a run as Kittredge gets to first base on a fielder's choice. And now next up in the order is Cliff Goldie.
Now batting number 17, Cliff Goldie.
Pitch on the way from Stribling. Inside part of the zone, that's strike 1. Goldie has reached base twice tonight. He was hit by a pitch in the 2nd inning. He was also walked on a 3-1 count in the 4th inning. This one a line drive will go foul. The count now sits at 0-2. Stribling looks at first as he starts his windup, and it finds the inside part of the plate, and that's 2 away here in the top of the 5th inning. 10 strikeouts now on the year for Jordan Stribling, and with 2 away, that takes us to the catcher, William Harbison.
Now batting number 20, William Harbison.
Left outside, the count starts off 1-0 to Harbison. In both of his first 2 appearances, he's 0 for 2 on the day. Both of those have been strikeouts looking on a full count. But he's ahead now 2-0 against Jordan Stribling. William Harbison just finished his freshman season at Western Nebraska. Is now ahead in the count 3-0. In his freshman season, he played in 31 games and had a .292 batting average. Also had a .490 slugging percentage as well this season. There's the first strike of the at-bat. The count is setting at 3-1. Swing and a miss, and there it is once again. William Harbison will be faced with a full count. He's hoping history doesn't repeat itself. He's been faced with 2 already tonight and struck out on both those. And there it is once again. There is the out number 3 in the 5th inning as one runner will be left stranded for the Angels, but they are able to score 2 runs for Dylan Volz and Tyler Genrich. The Larks will go back to Dylan LaRue as we start the bottom of the 5th inning up next. The future Fort Hays State Tiger, Connor Brennan, is back to the mound as we start the bottom of the fifth inning. And the Larks will go back to the way they started the bottom of the fourth inning. They went through their entire lineup. It'll be Dylan LaRue starting things off with a 1-0 count. LaRue scored 2 runs so far in tonight's game. He's ahead now 2-0, and he also had a 2 RBI double in the second inning. The pitch on the way will be called high and outside. LaRue now working with a 3-0 count. And that one will be ball 4. Dylan LaRue will head down to first base as he has walked for the 9th time this season, and that brings up Lorenzo Rios.
Now batting number 21, Lorenzo Rios.
Rios in his previous at-bat, he had a 2-run home run that brought home Dylan LaRue. We'll see what happens this time around. That one will find the zone. The count is now 0-1. A home run by Lorenzo Rios was in left field and actually had more distance than I originally thought, because the left fielder for the Angels, Grant Biggins, he ran after it and tried to climb the fence to get the out, but it was actually much farther that it wouldn't have mattered. The count is 0-2 to Lorenzo Rios. Time will be called, and everything will reset. The count now stands at 1-2 for the catcher out of Rice. This one a high fly ball into right center field, and this one's going to drop, and this one's going to get both runners into scoring position. LaRue's going for third. He's getting the windmill. He's going to try to make his way home, and he will slide in. He doesn't even have to slide. He's there safely. The 9th run of the game for the Hays Larks, and another RBI for Lorenzo Rios. The triple extends the Larks' lead to 9-4, and that will bring up the second baseman, C.J. Reed.
That'll bring to play number 1, C.J. Reed.
Count will start off 0-1 to Reed. And we have a courtesy runner now over at third base. For the first time this season, the Larks bring in the sophomore out of Wichita State, Caleb Duncan. It's an 0-2 count now to C.J. Reed. Caleb Duncan, a returner from last year's team, standing over at third base, played in 31 games last season with the Larks, 25 in the regular season, and all six games of the NBC World Series. The count is 1-2. This one will get away from the catcher, and Caleb Duncan will score in plenty of time. And once again, the Larks get double digits for runs on the board as they take a 10-4 lead here in the bottom of the fifth inning. And a swing and a miss. There is out number 1 here, as the Larks will go back to the top of their order with Tabor Stokes. Stokes scored in his previous appearance in the fourth inning. He had a single on a 2-1 count. And he's also actually 3 for 3 on the day with a double and 2 singles. The first pitch breaks into the zone, and that's strike one to Tabor Stokes. The Angels have sent another guy into their bullpen. We'll try to get a look of who that is, but the count is 0-1 to Tabor Stokes. That one will be called ball one as it goes high and outside. This one a pop fly. This one looks like it'll go out of play, and it will. Landing in the rock bed outside of the Angels dugout. Count is 1-2 to Tabor Stokes, and looks like the guy warming up in the bullpen right now for the Angels is number 77, the junior from Highlands Ranch, Colorado, Shane Lejeune Diacutis. We'll see how much longer they keep Connor Brennan in the game. This one hits the top of the net. And the count will stay 1-2 to the shortstop, Tabor Stokes. Because of tonight's performance, he now has 6 multi-hit games on the season. And also 17 hits overall in the year, giving it, and he's still the leader in that category for the Larks. This one a pop fly. This one looks like it will stay in play and then will land on the roof of the Angels dugout. That is 2 straight foul balls for Tabor Stokes as he tries to get on base for the 4th time tonight. The pitch on the way. Another foul ball for Tabor Stokes. The 7th pitch of the at-bat is coming up next. And Connor Brennan lost his balance there as he delivered that pitch. The count is now 2-2. And that will be strike number 3 to Tabor Stokes, and there's 2 away here in the bottom of the 5th inning, as that takes us to the center fielder, Trent Baker.
Now batting number 2, Trent Baker.
We'll see what Trent Baker can do this time around. He had an RBI double in his previous appearance, and he also was able to score a run. This one, a line drive, will go right into the glove of the first baseman, Tyler Jenrich, and there is out number 3. The Larks scored 2 runs in the 5th inning, including an RBI triple from Lorenzo Rios. And they take a 6-run lead into the top of the 6th inning. Larks take a 10-4 lead into the top of the 6th inning as Kyle Hubert will make his way to the plate. Still facing off against number 29, Jordan Stribling. First pitch on the way, he'll show bunt. And they say that he won't go around. That'll be called ball 1. Now Hubert working ahead in the count at 2-0. So far, Hubert in tonight's game, he was the final out in the 2nd inning after a ground out to Jackson Babcock over at first base. And he also has an RBI double that he recorded in the 4th inning. Working ahead in the count 3-0. The Angels trying to get the leadoff guy on for the 3rd inning in a row. And that is strike 1. Hubert thought that one was high and outside, but it was just able to find the zone. He'll show bunt once again. This one will be fielded by Stribling. He'll throw it down to first base. And there is out number 1. The Angels will now go back to the top of their order for the 4th time tonight as that brings up the left fielder Grant Biggins. 0 for 3 so far tonight. He struck out on his first 2 appearances and also had a ground out to C.J. Reed in the 4th inning. The pitch on the way. Left inside, and that was ball 1. Rios still at catcher, wants this one on the outside, and it's a swing and a miss there for Biggins, moving the count to 1-1. For Biggins, this is the 7th game that he's played in this season. The senior from Parker, Colorado. He's now faced with a 1-2 count. Stribling delivers the pitch. That one is outside for ball 2. And there is the strikeout. Grant Biggins tried reaching for it on the outside, but that's the 3rd time tonight he's been struck out. And with 2 away, we now go to Tyler Tiedemann. Tiedemann was the first run of the game for the Angels. He's also been struck out twice in tonight's game. Working against 2 outs. He will leave that one low and outside for ball 1. That one he thought about going around. The field umpire will say that he swung. That is strike 1 to the shortstop. That one another check swing, and that time it finds the zone. It's 1-2. Stribling will look to finish off the inning. This one will go foul behind first base. And Tiedemann keeps the inning alive for the Angels. A little low, that'll be called ball 2. That one gets in the zone, and it's back-to-back strikeouts to conclude the inning. The Angels started off the inning with a ground out by Kyle Hubert, and then one strikeout swing and another strikeout looking, and it's a 3-up, 3-down, top of the 6th inning. We'll go to Trent Baker, Lane Sparks, and Jackson Babcock up next for the Larks when we come back. Leading off the bottom of the 6th inning for the Larks is Lane Sparks. And he will be hit to start the inning as he makes his way down to first base. That'll bring up the first baseman, Jackson Babcock. Count will start off 1-0 to the freshman, and the Angels did make a pitching change in between that inning. We'll take a look at who that is in just a second. Babcock working with a 1-0 count with a runner at first base. That'll find the zone on the inside, moving the count to 1-1. The pitcher in the game now is the junior from Webster University. He's from Highlands Ranch, Colorado. It's Shane Lejeune Diacutis. And now Lane Sparks able to steal second base, as I believe they called that one a strike to Jackson Babcock. But he will work with Lane Sparks in scoring position. Count is 1-2 to Jackson Babcock. And that will get past the catcher. It looked like it might have clipped Babcock, but either way, it'll be called ball 2. And Sparks is now sitting over at third base. Larks looking to extend their lead. When you count it in the runs scored in tonight's game, they've outscored their home opponents this season 60-15. And a line drive, this one will land in fair territory, and Jackson Babcock will have an RBI double. He's headed for second base. And he is there. The Larks take an 11-4 lead as Lane Sparks scores for the second time in tonight's game.
RBI double for Jackson Babcock.
That now brings up the designated hitter, Paul Smith.
That will bring to the plate number 25, Paul Smith.
Designated hitter has reached base twice in tonight's game. Scored in the second inning and had an RBI, 2 RBI single in the fourth inning. A short meeting here between the catcher for the Angels, William Harbison, and the pitcher, Shane Lejeune-Diakidis. The junior from Webster University has made 7 career appearances, including 5 appearances in 2024 with 1 start. This is the 3rd game he's played in this season with the Angels. Swing and a miss, and the count is now 0-1 to Paul Smith. That one looked like it was going outside and then curves into the zone. The count is 0-2. The pitch on the way will be fouled back over the press box, as Smith will stay alive. Diakidis delivers the pitch. This one hit high into the air. It'll be called for by Volts at the second base spot. And then it's waved off. It'll be caught by the shortstop, Tyler Tiedemann, and there is one away. That'll now bring up the third baseman, Thomas Lissy. There's a single and a run so far in tonight's game, and his first game back since that knee injury where he set out for the entire Denver Cougars series. Diakidis continues to look back at second base. The count is now 1-0 to Thomas Lissy. Left up high, that'll be called ball 2. This one fouled back. Shakes the camera a little bit, but still in place, and the count is now 2-1 to Thomas Lissy. Lissy with 7 hits on the season and entered tonight's game with a .353 average. Now ahead at 3-1. And a swing and a miss, and now Lissy will have to work with a full count for the second time in tonight's game. This one fouled back. It's now 6 pitches in the at-bat to Thomas Lissy. The pitch on the way will be a fly ball caught by the shortstop Tiedemann, and there's 2 away. That'll now bring up the left fielder Dylan LaRue. He scored 3 runs in tonight's game. Also has 2 RBIs on the night as well. Coming off a strong performance against the Cougars where he scored 3 runs and also had a 2-run home run. And that will hit LaRue, and he will make his way down to first base. That's the second time he's been hit in tonight's game.
Now batting number 21, Lorenzo Rios.
That now brings up the catcher, Lorenzo Rios. Rios has a 2-run home run and a triple, which included an RBI in tonight's game so far. The runner at second base is Jackson Babcock. LaRue is at first base. This one hit high into the air. Running after it is Goldie, but that's going to land in foul territory. The count is 1-1. Rios thought about taking a swing at that one, but it finds the zone. The count is now 1-2. I'll leave that inside. Tied up at 2-2. Seeing both runners at the bases, taking some leads. Jackson Babcock at second. We haven't seen him make a steal attempt so far this season. And that one's going to hit Rios. He's going to head down to first base. It's now 9 times he's been hit this season. He's actually been hit by a pitch in now 7 games this season. As that brings up C.J. Reed.
Now batting number 1, C.J. Reed.
The Larks will also sub in a courtesy runner. They will once again bring in number 12, Caleb Duncan. He was a courtesy runner in Rios' last appearance in the 5th inning. After he had that RBI triple, Duncan scored on a pass ball. The pitch on the way to Reed. Catches the outside part of the plate, and the count will start off 0-1. That one left inside by C.J. Reed will move the count to 1-1. And a curveball thrown there by the Angels pitcher, Shane Lejeune Diakidis. But it missed outside. The count is now at 2-1. Swing and a miss, and that's strike 2 to C.J. Reed. Larks working with the bases loaded. Trying to keep the inning going. The most they've left stranded so far tonight is 1. This one will go foul. And Reed will keep the inning alive. In the first 4 innings for the Larks, they only had 1 guy stranded in each of those innings. And they scored 2 runs in the 5th inning with no guys left stranded. And a swing and a miss, and there is out number 3. The Larks score a run thanks to a Jackson Babcock RBI double, and they take an 11-4 lead into the top of the 7th inning. We'll be back in just a little bit. Dylan Voles will lead off the top of the 7th inning as the Larks take an 11-4 lead. Jordan Stribling is back to the mound. Count will start off 0-1 to the second baseman. The Larks working with a 7-run lead. We remind fans to stick around for the on-field post-game player interview coming up next. Every night we try to interview a batter and a pitcher. Dalton Campbell had another strong performance tonight with 9 strikeouts in 4 innings. But one of the things we try to do here on the Larks Network is interview every guy that we can before we go back to a guy a second time. So we'll probably try to interview Jordan Stribling in tonight's game with a solid performance for him so far. After the short meeting, Lorenzo Rios will head back behind home plate. Working with an 0-1 count against the second baseman Dylan Volz. It was 0 for 1 on the day. He struck out in his first appearance, but in his last 2 he's walked. Swing and a miss, and now Stribling working ahead in the count 0-2. This one is swing and a miss, and there is 3 strikes for the strikeout as the Larks put 1 away in the top of the 7th, and that brings up Tyler Genrich.
Now number 15, Tyler Genrich.
Genrich had his first run in his last appearance in the 5th inning. He was walked on a full count. But other than that, he's 0 for 2 on the day. That one finds the zone. Count is 0-1 for the Angels. Genrich, a sophomore from UC Colorado Springs, played 14 games this season after redshirting in 2024. There is ball 1 to the first baseman. That pitch will tie the count up at 2-1 for Genrich. On deck for the Angels is David Brab, and in the hole is Cameron Kittredge. The 2-1 on the way from Stribling is going to go high and outside. That's ball 3. The infielders for the Larks are going to play back a little bit. So this one a hard hit ball into center field. Trent Baker will run after it, and this one will take a bounce off the wall as Genrich will make his way to second base. With 1 out, the Angels get a double from Genrich, the second time he's gotten on tonight, and that takes us to the designated hitter David Brab.
Now batting for 7, David Brab.
A hard hit ball there for the Angels. For Genrich, that That is hit number 7 for him on the year. Guy that entered tonight's game with a .565 slugging percentage. Now David Brabb up to bat for the Angels. Swing and a miss. The count starting off 0-1. That one finds the outside part of the plate. Now Stribling working ahead once again, 0-2 in the count. He struck out Dylan Vols swinging on an 0-2 count. We'll see if he can do it again here against David Brabb. And there it is. There is strike number 3 and 2 away here in the top of the 7th inning. 5 strikeouts on the night for Jordan Stribling, as that brings up Cameron Kittredge, the third baseman.
Batting for 26, Cameron Kittredge.
The runner at second base for the Angels is Tyler Jenrich. With 2 away, Stribling will deliver. This one far outside, but Rios able to save it. Starting the count at 1-0. Swing and a miss. The count is at 1-1 for Cameron Kittredge. The first two outs in this inning for the Angels have all been strikeouts. This is a team that tries to swing and make contact, but they've been struck out quite a bit this season. The count now at 1-2 for Kittredge. Entering tonight's game, they had 53 hits on the year, but 75 strikeouts for their batting. Stribling kicks and deals. Swing and a miss. 3 strikeouts by the Oklahoma Sooner. Retires the side, and we'll go to the bottom of the 7th inning with the top of the order up next for the Larks. Tabor Stokes will lead off the bottom of the 7th inning for the Larks as they have an 11-4 lead over the Gameday Angels. This is the 5th appearance at the plate for Tabor Stokes tonight. The first one finds the zone. The count will be 0-1. Larks still facing off against the junior pitcher, Shane Lejeune Deakidis. That one finds the outside part of the plate, moving the count to 0-2. And there is the strikeout for the A's. That is the first out of the bottom of the 7th inning, and now up to bat is the center fielder from Lamar, Trent Baker. See what Baker does here. He had an RBI double in his previous appearance. The swing and the miss. That is an 0-1 count to start, with one away here in the bottom of the 7th inning. The pitch sent Baker's way. He'll swing and miss. And another Hayes Lark faced with an 0-2 count. Trent Baker will let that one go on the outside. The count now moves to 1-2. This one a ground ball. This one will get past the shortstop. And there is the second hit of the game for Trent Baker. Next up in the order will be number 8, Lane Sparks. The right fielder has scored in his 2 previous appearances at the plate. That one will find the zone, starting the count off 0-1. As Lejeune Deakidis starting to get a feel for the zone. That will be called ball 1. And Trent Baker will successfully steal second base. Now Sparks working with a 1-2 count, trying to fight back. Sparks has reached base on all 4 of his appearances tonight, including a double. This one on the inside will get away from the catcher. And Trent Baker will just walk down to third base. And he is 90 feet away from scoring another run. This one, a foul ball, will bounce off of the pole. Lane Sparks staying alive in his 5th appearance at the plate tonight. This one, a line drive, will be caught by the first baseman, Jenrich. And there is 2 away here in the 7th inning. That'll now take us to the first baseman, Jackson Babcock. Had his first hit of the night in the last inning. He had an RBI double that brought home Lane Sparks. Now has an opportunity to get another RBI with Trent Baker sitting at third base. Finds the inside part of the plate. The count starts off 0-1 to the freshman out of Colorado School of Mines. The outside part, that'll be called ball 1 for Babcock. That one will be called strike 2 as Babcock will try to fight back. On the inside part of the plate, that'll be called ball 2. As mentioned, Babcock reached base in the last inning from an RBI double. This one will go foul, keeping the count at 2-2. A hit here would give him his 4th multi-hit game of the season. Left outside, and now the count is full. Babcock has 10 RBIs on the season, but he will walk right here and he will head down to first base. Has a team high 17 walks on the year, and that brings up number 25, Paul Smith. For our hitter that we're going to interview after the game, it's either going to be Trent Baker or Paul Smith. We decided we're going to interview Jordan Stribling for our pitcher of the game. We know Dalton Campbell had a strong performance on the mound once again, but again, we like to get at least one interview with every player before we go back for a second interview. This one, a diving effort made by the left fielder. He ran into the wall. And they will give him a sec, but he's able to get up and make his way back to his position. Got to give a lot of credit there to Grant Biggins. Made a great effort for it and was just a little bit short of making the catch. The center fielder for the Angels, Kyle Hubert, checking on him. He's going to go back to his position. And this one, a ground ball fielded by Genrich, and there is out number 3. The Larks leave 2 stranded, and now we go to the top of the 8th inning. Larks still in front, 11-4, trying to get win number 8 on the year and improve to 5-1 in RMBL play. Leading off the top of the 8th inning for the Gameday Angels will be the right fielder Cliff Goldie, and the Larks will make a call to the bullpen as they will bring in number 24 Julio Ramos. Count will start off 1-0. This will be Ramos's 5th appearance of the season. He's got 9 innings of work on the year with a 1-0 record, including a save on the year as well. He's not allowed an earned run and has 13 strikeouts on the year while also having a .074 opponent batting average. He's been one of the Larks' top pitchers so far this year. As he finds the zone for the first time, the count is 2-1. Outside, that one will move the count to 3-1. Goldie reached base in his first 2 appearances. He struck out looking on an 0-2 count in his previous appearance in the 5th inning. And that will be called strike 2. Goldie thought that was too far inside. The count is now full. Ramos delivers, swing and a miss. Strikeout number 14 on the year for the native of Nogales, Arizona. That will now bring up the catcher, William Harbison. That one fouled back. Harbison starts off with an 0-1 count. He's been struck out 3 times so far in tonight's game. I'll leave that one up high for ball 1. This one hit high into the air. Babcock will try to run after it, but this one looks like it's going to land out of play. It looked like it was possibly going to go into the Angels dugout, but it lands out of play. The count is now 1-2. Ramos using his slow motion once again, and it pays off. There is out number 2, and back-to-back strikeouts for Julio Ramos. That'll take us now to the center fielder, Kyle Hubert, as the Larks look for a 3-up, 3-down here in the top of the 8th inning. First pitch from Ramos. They'll say that Hubert went around, and that is an 0-1 count on a check swing. Swing and a miss, and now Ramos ahead 0-2. He already has 2 strikeouts in tonight's game. The pitch on the way. And the Larks' entire infield thought that was going to be called strike 3, but a little too far outside. That'll be ball 1. This one hit high into the air, hit towards right field. Lane Sparks will run after it into foul territory, and he gets the grab for out number 3. A 1-2-3 inning for the Larks. They start with 2 strikeouts, and then that fly out in foul territory caught by Lane Sparks will bring it in to the top of the 8th inning. We'll see how the Larks finish out tonight's game, and try to get win number 8 when we come back. As we go to the bottom of the 8th inning, the Gameday Angels will bring Shane Lejeune-Diakis back to the mound, and he will start the inning facing off against number 15, Thomas Lissy. First pitch will find the zone for strike 1. Lissy has a single and a run scored in tonight's game in his first game back from injury. That one the changeup able to get in the zone. The count is now 0-2. Again, a reminder to fans to stick around for the post-game show afterwards, where we'll have an on-field post-game interview if the Larks, which they likely will hold on. Count 1-2 to Thomas Lissy. Decided that tonight's on-field interview will feature Jordan Stribling and Trent Baker. As this one hit into right field, Goldie will track it down. There is out number 1. That'll now take us to the left fielder for the Larks, Dylan LaRue. He's reached base in all 4 of his appearances tonight and also has 3 runs. First time LaRue got on base was a 2 RBI double in the 2nd inning. The last 3 have either been a walk or a hit by a pitch. Count will begin at 1-0. LaRue working ahead in the count, 2-0 on the way from Lejeune-Diakis. Count will be tied up as that one's fouled out of play. That one will get past the glove of the pitcher. It'll be fielded by Volz, and he'll get the throw down to first base, and that is out number 2. So with 2 away, that'll bring up the catcher, Lorenzo Rios. Having a good day batting, had a 2-run home run in the 4th inning, and also had an RBI triple in the 5th inning. See how he works here with two away. That first strike will start the count off 0-1 to Lorenzo Rios. He's reached base 3 times in each of his last 2 games now after the performance he put on tonight. With a 1-1, that one finds the zone a little on the outside. It is a 1-2 count to the catcher out of Yorkville, Illinois. This one popped up into the air, will go out of play. As Rios keeping the inning alive with 2 outs. And a swing and a miss, and that will be out number 3. It's a 3-up, 3-down inning there for the Larks, but they hold the 7th-run lead as we go the 7-run lead as we go to the top of the 9th inning. We'll see how everything plays out when we come back. As we start the top of the 9th inning, the Gameday Angels will go back to the top of their order with Grant Biggins, Tyler Tiedemann, and Dylan Volz. And they will face off against Julio Ramos here in the final inning. Larks holding the 11-4 lead, trying to get their 8th win of the season. Up high, the first pitch of the inning will be ball 1. A loss tonight would move the Gameday Angels right at 500 at 4-4 on the year. So they'll have some work to do for the remainder of this series. For them, this is their second 4-game series of the season. They went 2-2 in their last series against the Liberal BJs. As the count's now 2-1 to Grant Biggins, who is 0 for 4 in tonight's game. Now working ahead in the count at 3-1 as that one misses up high. That pitch from Ramos, a swing and a miss. Makes the count full to Grant Biggins. This one fouled back and takes a hit to our camera. Since this is the last inning, we'll just switch over to our other camera. Count remains full, and a swing and a miss. There is the first out of the top of the 9th inning. With one away, that takes us to the shortstop, Tyler Tiedemann. 0 for 3 in tonight's game. He walked in the 3rd inning and also scored on an error. That one finds the zone. The count starts off 0-1. Ramos' second pitch is a line drive. This one will land in the Larks bullpen, and the count now moves to 0-2. Ramos looking for strikeout number 4. Just a little bit outside. That'll be called ball 1. And there it is. There is the strikeout. 2 away in the top of the 9th. And the Angels' last hope is their second baseman, Dylan Vols, with 2 away. This is Vols' 5th appearance of the night. He has 2 walks and 2 strikeouts. That one finds the outside part of the plate, and it's 0-1. Ramos slows down his motion. Just a tad bit outside. There's ball 1. Rios trying to position it on the outside, and there is strike 2. Larks will look for their second straight 3-up, 3-down inning to retire the side and get the win. Ramos kicks and deals. Just misses the zone. That'll be called ball 2. This one will roll foul. The 6th pitch of the at-bat coming up next to Dylan Vols. Larks fans clapping to help Julio Ramos out. The pitch on the way will roll away from Rios, and now the count is full. Ramos delivers the pitch. High and outside, that'll be called ball 4, and Dylan Vols will walk for the 3rd time in tonight's game. That'll now take us to the first baseman, Tyler Jenrich. He's had a walk and a double in tonight's game, but is 1 for 3 so far tonight. That one a foul ball that goes towards the Angels dugout. The count will begin at 0-1. Curveball goes on the outside of the plate. Moving the count to 1-1 against Jenrich. Dylan Volz standing at first base after walking on a full count in a 7-pitch at bat. That one bounces in the dirt and will tie the count up. That one finds the zone, and the count is now 2-2 for Ramos against Tyler Jenrich. Four strikeouts so far in this game for Julio Ramos. He can make it 5 right here. The pitch on the way. Swing and a miss, and there it is. The Larks improve to 8-1-1 on the year and get the win over the Angels by a final score of 11-4. And we'll have our post-game player interview with Trent Baker and Jordan Stribling up next.
11-4. Larks improved to 8-1-1 on the year, 5-1 in RMBL play. Time of today's game, 3 hours and 2 minutes. Your winning pitcher, Jordan Stribling. Loss goes to James Harbison. Larks and the Angels right back here tomorrow, game 2, 7 p.m. We welcome all the littles from Big Brothers, Big Sisters. Stay with us right after the game for the on-field player interview sponsored by Lewis Automotive Group.
Meet me down at the ballpark where I'll be rooting for the Hayes Larks. All of my friends are gonna be there too. Nothing in the world I'd rather do than grab a hot dog burger and a cold beer. You'll hear me yelling out a big cheer, 'cause whether they win or whether they lose, I'll be rooting for the Hayes Larks. Hayes Larks! I'll be rooting for the Hayes Larks.
It's time now for tonight's postgame. Take it away, Hank.
Thank you. I'm here first with Trent Baker. Tonight you had an RBI double, a single, and a run. What did you notice from the pitching tonight?
I was just trying to see the ball and hit it hard. That's what I've been trying to do all season, and it finally started to work.
And what do you have to say about the home field advantage for you guys so far this season? You're now 23-1 in the last 2 seasons here at Larks Park, and I believe it's now 61-15 that you've outscored your opponents through the first few home games.
I mean, home field advantage is definitely a thing whenever we have all these great fans here, so we do it for them, and we love doing it.
And what made you want to come back for this season? You're the only third-year returner for the Larks. What made you want to come back?
It's hard to not want to come back after we just won the whole thing, so I'm trying to go back-to-back, so that's why I'm here.
Congrats on a great performance. Give it up for Trent Baker. I'm now here with Jordan Stribling. You went 3 innings of work tonight and had 7 strikeouts on the night. What was working for you?
Just throwing downhill, throwing strikes, getting ahead in the count, and just trusting my defense.
And what would you have to say for yourself personally about your overall performance so far as a freshman relief pitcher?
Just gaining confidence every outing, taking one pitch at a time, and just moving on, getting better each day and day.
And you were redshirted this last season with Oklahoma, and how would you say that helped you prepare? This was their first season in the SEC, which many say is the toughest baseball conference in the country. How did that help you prepare?
I got a full year of development, and the guys around me at OU were great people. They told me just, the game of baseball and just learning new things every day has just helped me develop a lot.
Congrats on the win tonight, Jordan. Give it up for Jordan Stribling. That is win number 8 on the year and win number 5 in RMBL play for the Hayes Larks, defeating the Game Day Angels tonight by a final score of 11-4. As we welcome you into the post-game show here at Larks Park. It was a close game at first. The Angels definitely challenged the Larks a little bit after they took a 3-0 lead through the second inning. The Angels would score a run each in the third and fourth inning, but it was that fourth inning alone for the Larks where they would score 5 innings that made the complete difference. They were able to hold on to the lead from that point on, and just again take advantage of the game and play to their own pace with the lead as they get the win by a final score of 11-4. Another strong performance at home. They're now 23-1 at Larks Park in the last 2 seasons, and currently now they're on a 9-game home unbeaten streak. And I said it with Trent Baker in our post-game interview. The Larks have now outscored their home opponents 61-15 through the first few home games this season. It really makes a huge difference for this Larks team, and Larks Park seems to be where they play their best baseball. But a lot of strong performances tonight. We talked to Trent Baker, who had an RBI double and a single tonight, as well as a run scored. Lane Sparks had another strong performance with reaching base 4 times and scoring 2 runs, which included a double in the 3rd inning. We also saw Dylan LaRue continue to score more runs for the Larks. He had 3 tonight, including a 2 RBI double in the 2nd inning. And the other times he was able to get on base were through two times he got hit by a pitch, and he also walked in the 5th inning. And Lorenzo Rios scored 2 runs tonight's game. In tonight's game, where he also had a 2-run home run and an RBI triple. So another strong performance with the bats for the Larks as they get the win in Game 1, and the pitching did very, very good as well. Dalton Campbell made another start tonight, got 9 strikeouts through just 4 innings of work, which from the way it looks right now, he'll probably see his name on the leaderboard for the all-time strikeout leaders at the end of the season. We said that at the number 10 spot is 72 strikeouts on the year, so if he can keep the pace that he's going, Campbell might see his name on that leaderboard at the end of the season. And Jordan Stribling, who we talked to in the post-game interview, through 3 innings and had 7 strikeouts on the night. So the Larks had another strong performance against the Game Day Angels, and they're back at it tomorrow night at 7 p.m. as they start. It'll be game number 2 of 4 in the series, and tomorrow night is also the night where they will celebrate the 2024 NBC World Series Championship team. And that's going to do it for us here at Larks Park. I'm Hank Corsair saying good night.